Is it the Nike Dunk Low Zebra? Is it the Nike Dunk Low Anthracite? Is it the Nike Dunk Low Pure Platinum? Is it the Nike Dunk Low Wilderness pack? Is it the Nike Dunk Low Cheetah? Because that's the other half of this pack. But sorry guys out there, I'm not interested in that one today. I'm only sticking with these guys right here, which is a much more sleek black pair, mostly the same sneaker as those cheetahs, but just different hits in the colors. And this is the one I want to stay with today. But it's great to look at whatever the shoe is called: Anthracite, Pure Platinum, Zebra, all those kind of things, the Wilderness. It's just a great looking shoe, a really sweet looking shoe, and it comes in mostly black, simple colors, even though there's texture in that shaggy suede throughout the midline on these shoes. It's still a very clean black Dunk Low, and that's always a very good thing. But there's more going on than just that with this shoe. There are plenty of hits in there, interesting choices in the colors, interesting choices in the fabrics and the materials, and the placement of the little tiny hits that make the upcoming release of the Nike Dunk Low Zebra one of the best shoes of the season. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 sneaker channel. Tokyo Bara 23 sneaker channelです。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And in the spotlight today is the upcoming release on June the 22nd worldwide of the Nike Dunk Low Zebras. And I'm saying worldwide because these guys have kind of already dropped here in Tokyo, Japan at the Atmos line, one of the biggest sneaker stores in Japan, the biggest sneaker chain, I can say that for sure. I don't know if I go so far as to say the biggest sneaker store, but at least the biggest sneaker chain. There's probably, I'm going to say, upwards of 15 different Atmos stores throughout Japan, and I'm sure you guys out there have heard of certain Atmos collaborations. Sometimes they fly under the radar, not so noticeable. I think the most recent one was a LeBron 18 Low, if I remember correctly, but then there have been some absolutely wild Atmos collaborations that have just taken the world by storm and are highly sought after, especially when it comes to the Dunk line. So these guys already seem to have had a run out at Atmos here in Japan, and somehow I missed that one, if it was a quick strike or a lightning strike or something like that, but it slid right by me. And when I was looking at these shoes and thinking, oh, that's interesting, and then I saw it was written up like, oh, they've already dropped in Japan, I'm like, how'd that happen? So I'm not entirely sure whether or not that's actually accurate or not. I did pop over to the Atmos homepage. It's all in Japanese, which I can kind of read. And I did try and decipher what was going on there. And to be honest, it did look like it said between the 6th of June and the 10th of June. And today I'm shooting this on the 10th, I think. There were options to buy them, but I'm not entirely sure what that meant. Maybe entering a raffle, maybe entering some kind of draw or something along those lines. So yes, they have already sort of slid under the radar here in Tokyo, Japan, but for the rest of the world, June the 22nd is when the next installment of the Dunk line is going to come along, and it's an absolutely cracking sneaker. Now, I do need to look back to a different Dunk, and I really should have checked into this more carefully. You know, I research the videos every single time, and I thought to myself, I should check into that, and then I forgot to actually check into it. And what I'm talking about, hopefully, is right here, a classic green, which is probably the most recent Dunk Low I've done for the channel. And the reason I chose that Dunk Low to do was because it's one of the rare occasions when the line that runs from the toe to the quarter line, across the laces and down the ankle and the heel was split. And I think, if I remember rightly, it was green on the toe and then black through the rest of the shoe or something along those lines. So hopefully that classic green, I'm correct in my memory, which is unlikely at my age, you know what I'm saying, but hopefully that Dunk Low classic green is there, and you can see how the green doesn't run the full length of the shoe. But then if we bring it back to today's shoe, the Zebras, you can see that the classic, the sort of distinctive zebra branding or detailing that runs the length of the shoe does cover that whole distance from the toe box up the quarter line, across the laces and down the ankle and into the heel. And that's kind of a main feature of Dunks. Mainly, most Dunks would have that line in some form. What's unique about these guys is that the midfoot isn't in a lighter color and the toe box itself isn't in a lighter color. Often that's where you'd see the contrast, where if you had a sort of black or dark gray as you do on this one in that line, you'd see something like light gray on the toe box or the midfoot, but you don't see that on these guys. You see a black that complements the black of the line. So what we need to look at first is materials, and 3 different materials. So we'll start with the simplest one, which is the toe. Hopefully this picture here gives you an idea of what's going on the actual sort of toe panel there, with very high quality smooth black leathers in the toe, and they stand in big contrast to material number 2, which is that anthracite line that runs through the shoe in sort of multiple shades of deep grey. There's no light grey in there. You know, if you were on a spectrum of greys from light grey to dark grey, all of the greys that come in this shaggy suede are all up at this end of the dark grey side. But there is more than one grey at play in this shaggy suede, like I've said, running through the shoe. And so hopefully what we're able to do on the green screen is for you guys to zoom in and see how shaggy the suede is for a start, to get an idea on the materials, but also the different dark grey colours in there that set this part of shoe apart, this bit of the shoe apart from the smooth black leathers of the toe panel. And then the second smooth black leathers to look at is the midfoot on top, underneath the swoosh, equal to that toe box. You've got that panel on the midfoot is that black smooth leathers, and the same sort of style and design there. And then on top of them, like I said, you've got that grey swoosh running back through the shoe, which gives us our first point of sort of light colour to stand in contrast to the dark black smooth leathers and the dark grey shaggy suedes that are already sort of evident on the shoe. So that's kind of the makeup of the shoe and the main important details on it. There is one kind of interesting feature left to look at before we look at the standard features of a Dunk Low, and that's to do with the way that the branding is embroidered on the heel. So if you go and have a look at that, first and foremost you can see is a grey embroidered branding on a grey branding panel, and so there isn't any contrast here. When we get to the tongues and the insoles, you'll see that it's white branding on black branding panels for contrast, but not on the heel. But not only that, but that embroidered branding is really popping off the shoe in a very significant way, an unusually significant way. Yes, often in the branding panel on the heel of Dunks, you get it embroidered on the back there, but there's a real chunky feel to this one, and it's got a real 3D effect popping off the branding panel there. So a last major feature of these shoes after that shaggy suede and the zebra patterning running through the shoe is the embroidered branding on the back of these guys. But then, like I said, we need to get into some sort of standard stuff on the shoe, and especially that tongue and insole sort of duality of the branding on there, both done in a light grey branding with a black background around it. What's kind of interesting, I mean, the insoles, it's very simple, Nike swoosh in grey on black, you're finished. But then up on the tongues, it's a little bit different, because yes, you've got the same colour and branding that you have on the insoles in that light grey, but then it's on a black branding panel. And here comes the sort of unique bit, is that the tongue itself is also black, because often again you'd see contrast there between the branding panel and the tongue itself. For example, black tongue, grey branding panel, black branding, but instead of that it's the grey branding, black branding panel, and black tongue. So there's kind of an interesting choice in the way they've decided to sort of put that part of the shoe together. And then the last real thing to go have a look at is the midsole outsole unit. You can see that that's done in all white on the midsole, and then we flip them upside down and we get to see the grey. And I shouldn't really call it grey, it's supposed to be called Pure Platinum. So the shoe has a really interesting sort of name to it. It has the zebra side, has the anthracite side, which is supposed to be that shaggy suede that runs the length of the shoe, and then also it has the Pure Platinum side, which is supposed to represent the swoosh, the heel branding, and the outsoles. But I just can't help but call the swoosh, the heel branding, and the outsoles light grey. And as you can see on these this picture right here, the full outsole unit is in grey. And then if we go back out and have a look at the whole shoe, you can see that grey down below in the outsole unit, the line of the white midsole, and then the upper, as I've already described it, with that one hit of light grey in the swoosh to provide contrast to the rest of the colours of the shoe. Now, all in all, I think it's a great looking Dunk. I really, really do. It's coming on June the 22nd. I don't know if it'll appear in the sneakers app here. Sometimes that happens here when a shoe's appeared in a specific shop like Atmos. It still does appear on the regular drop date on the sneakers app, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them there. But if you're out there in the rest of the world and wondering what's going on with these guys, it's June 22nd is the official general release. So it's something to look forward to, a great looking shoe, and hopefully you've appreciated this video as a great way to walk you through that shoe and understand all the different hits on it, from the materials to the colours to the construction. And for me, for now, it's time to just wrap this one up. Another video in the bag. Hopefully you guys are sticking with this and appreciating the daily content. We're trying to keep it going at the moment. I don't really feel like things are very fresh right now. I think we're in some kind of like just keep things going, and then maybe when I get time off from work I'll be able to bring a bit more energy to the channel. But these days it feels like things are a bit sort of hard work. But I'm only about a week and a half away from a holiday, so fingers crossed that holiday will do me and the channel some good. For now though, it's time for me just to wrap this one up and sign off with the video for today. And the thing that I do at the end of every single video is to remind you that I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.